Welcome back to this edition of The Tax Lawyer on the Legal Broadcast Network. I'm Scott Drake, and my guest is Robert Wood, writing in Forbes. He is the principal at Wood LLP in San Francisco. This article is combining, well, it's about combining business and pleasure, which is something that a lot of people can do during the summertime that we're in right now, but there are some little things that you have to keep in mind. Welcome back, Rob.
Thanks. Good to be here.
I've always wondered, I mean, how much, in essence, of a trip has to be business, and how do you figure it out before you can determine how much that you can deduct?
Well, I think the big thing, and I guess this is a place where I have to give the IRS its due and say that I think at the end of this little blurb in Forbes, I referred to an IRS publication. This is a place which is, I think, really good. This is a place where I think you, as a consumer, can get ideas by reading some of the IRS publications. Yeah, I mean, bear in mind and the easiest way to get these, in the old days, when I was growing up as a tax lawyer 30 years ago, you had to subscribe to these things or specifically request them. I mean, and these aren't like tax forms that the local post office would have. So we're kind of a hassle to get, and now, of course, we can all just go on the internet, go on the irs.gov website, which is terrific, and look for IRS publications, download them for free, and if you want, print them out. But there's a lot of good information. But sort of the global answer to your question, Scott, is, I mean, it's got to be business. So if you are going, so Scott, you're going on a business trip, you have to go to Chicago for some reason. So your airfare is your airfare, or if you were going to drive, your expenses of driving, rental car or mileage or whatever is your expenses. So those are business, and if you bring somebody along in the car, it doesn't incur any higher rental fee or mileage expense. Obviously, airfare, on the other hand, would, for another person, a spouse or companion, would be additional, would not be business oriented. But there are even some ways around that. There's some rules about, for example, when spouses, should be treated as a company for business reasons. I guess my general advice on that one is it's tough to qualify, but again, you can, I think, buy your hotel room and various other things. You can end up having a lot of the expense sort of covered by the business nature of your trip.
Mm-hmm. So you can travel to Chicago on business and then play golf with your brother-in-law and deduct the golf, but if you are, for example, having dinner with colleagues, even though there's not a particular it's not a particular business function, but you're having a meal with colleagues or you're entertaining some colleagues by playing golf, there are cases where that's deductible.
Absolutely, and once again, I think you can get a good sense for what the IRS sort of likes and dislikes by taking a look at the IRS website. And incidentally, I mean, I've had, if some of us are paranoid, I guess, about taxes, and I've been asked a number of times recently whether the IRS tracks who visits its website, and can that make you likely to be audited or something. I can assure you that I'm 99.999% sure the IRS doesn't do that. In fact, I would hazard to say it doesn't have the ability to do that. So please use the IRS website. It's quite good, and you can get a lot of good information there, from the IRS, from the horse's mouth.
One thing I wanted to quickly touch on too, with the way the unemployment situation is right now, part of business actually is job hunting expense, and that's an area where you actually have some sort of leeway and can deduct a major portion of traveling when looking for employment.
Yeah, the big thing on all of this, obviously I'm generalizing, but I mean, Scott, you're absolutely right. A big thing about all of this is documentation. I mean, keep receipts, it's a pain in the neck to do, I find, but you want to get in the habit of writing down trips in your car that are business related. You want to get, have some system for organizing receipts. So if you're going to Chicago, and especially if it's a longer trip, it's so annoying, I find, to get back, and then you're never really sure how much money is spent or where, and you have blank taxi receipts, and you have sort of a mix of things. Some credit cards are great for that purpose because you can get better receipts and sort of duplicate receipts easily. But have a system and keep good records because the IRS expects it.
All right, Rob, thank you.
Thank you.
You can find this article and many more at Forbes.com. Rob Wood is my guest, the tax lawyer, and I'm Scott Drake. You're watching the Legal Broadcast Network.